This episode may contain explicit language.
Dear Care and Feeding, I keep hearing nightmarish stories on Instagram of parents who sleep 3 hours of broken sleep a night for 5, 6, 10 years. You're all about to get real mad because every time we talk about sleep, you all get real mad.
I have the craziest opinions.
Shocking, Lucy.
Be ready.
We would wake up in the middle of the night and be like, we thought the baby was in bed with us somehow, even though we always had it in the bathroom.
Because you're sleep deprived. You're going to be sleep deprived, but it's not forever. This is Care and Feeding. We're 3 friends with kids who get together every week. We talk life, we swap advice, we keep each other sane while we muddle through this weird and wonderful thing called parenting. I'm Lucy Lopez. I'm mother to Amelia, who's 15, Avery, who's 13, and we live in Miami.
I'm Elizabeth Newcamp. I'm mom to Henry, who's 13, Oliver, who's 11, and Teddy, who's 9. We live in Honolulu, Hawaii.
I'm Cheyna Roth. I'm filling in for fellow Michigander Zach Rosen this week. I'm the producer of Care and Feeding and other shows here at Slate. I'm the mom to a 5.5-year-old daughter, and I am super pregnant. Like, will I go into labor during this recording? Who knows? Stick around.
That would be an episode to watch on YouTube.
We're here to talk about the ups, the downs, and literally everything in between when it comes to parenting. Every week we commiserate, we check in with listeners, and we try to make this feel like the kind of conversation you would have with your friends.
We have a listener question about sleep. She's thinking about having kids, but is really worried about what she's seeing online with lots of parents saying they never sleep through the night, even after 5 and 10 years.
She's got
we
to
have a
log
lot
off.
to say about
She
that.
totally has to log off. Elizabeth, can you read it for us?
Dear Care and Feeding, I keep hearing nightmarish stories on Instagram of parents who sleep 3 hours of broken sleep a night for 5, 6, 10 years. There are so many people commenting on posts like that saying they too would kill for 5 hours of unbroken sleep because they only get 2 or 3. They say things like, I am tired in my bones. I don't know how I function. I wanted to off myself. I look haggard all the time. No one told me motherhood was so lonely doing it all alone in the wee hours of the morning.
Mm-hmm.
If those feelings came and went sometimes, I totally get that. But this idea of a permanent state is really scaring me away from ever having kids. I feel like if that happened to me, I would get some sort of disease and just die. I don't want to laugh at this person's letter, but we're not even done. I both feel this and I'm like, deep breath.
Right.
I'm having trouble determining if this is people calling out from rock bottom for help just before big needed changes are made, or is this really the very basic non-negotiable foundation of being a parent? We are all shaking our heads. No. Okay, since I have spent a lot of time with infants, I do understand their patterns and general level of need. However, I always just napped when the infant I nannied for napped, or I ate snacks out of their parents' fridge. Then I went home when the day was over. I never slept over. Whenever I ask on social media, can you sleep when your baby sleeps? People freak out and are so angry at me. And it sounds like they have 5, 6, and 7-year-olds who wake up all night, every night. Is this even real? Help. Sincerely, I like to get a solid 9 hours. Okay, we're going to go around, but really quick. Can we just all take a deep, it's going to be okay.
It's going to be fine.
It's okay.
It's okay.
You're all about to get real mad. I'm just going to tell you now, you're all about to get real mad because every time we talk about sleep, you all get real mad. So I'm sorry.
Here's the thing, because everybody's experience is different. We should start there. Everybody's child is different. Everybody's way of doing things is different. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It just is different. That being said, I feel like this listener is in that corner of the internet where people are like really exaggerating how terrible things are. Like, I feel like we've turned a corner at some point on the internet where we went from things have to be super perfect and like beautiful and beige to now everybody's like, look at what my demon child did. And it's just, and now we're like all about like things being terrible. And I don't know why, but I feel like that's where we're at. And that is the corner of the internet this woman is
I
on.
do think it's like when you are sleep deprived or with anything with kids, it does, because the days are so long, it does feel like you will never get out of it. But in my experience, none of this lasts forever. Even if it comes, what is true, I think, is that sleep will never be the same as before you had children. Like when you sleep just differently once you have kids. But it's not like we're all not rested. And there are certainly periods, it fluctuates. There are periods in which you are not well rested.
I have the craziest opinions. So please.
Shocking, Lucy.
Be ready. There was a time where Avery just would not sleep. And my grandmother, when I couldn't sleep, she would get a cold glass of water with ice, put it somewhere high up in my room, would collect all the negative energies, and I would sleep through the night.
There you go.
And I remember
problem solved. Next question.
I like it. I very efficient.
That with Avery, and every night I would fill a glass with water and ice and put it up on top, the highest point in her room, like the shelves, the bookshelves, boom, right there. It would collect all the negative energy in the room, and the kid would sleep through the whole night. Okay. This is just something that I am passing down to listeners of different cultures. This is what worked in my house with my family. However, I also, like Cheyna, don't subscribe to this idea that, having kids is terrible. Oh my God, look what this little monster did. Like I can't stand that kind of content. Like it bothers me, right? One thing is to have like a little joke here and there, but don't go down that rabbit hole. I know plenty of my friends who have had one kid who slept the whole night and the other one, like Avery, woke up every other hour, right? It all depends on what kid you have. Also, I put myself in the mental state that I was treating it like if I were at a rave, okay? Like if I went to Ultra for a weekend. And when you go to a rave, you don't sleep. You're like up all night and that's literally what it's like when you have a child who does not want to sleep. Your body becomes numb. You're like, what? What's happening? I remember waking up in the middle of the night, getting up from bed and going, where's the baby? And Gino and I were like panicked, touching the blankets, lifting the blankets, pulling, where's the baby? Where's it? The baby was in her bassinet at the feet of our bed.
We had this too. We would wake up in the middle of the night and be like, we thought the baby was in bed with us somehow, even though we always had it in the bassinet.
Because you're sleep deprived.
Because safe sleep is important. And we just be like, both wake up and be like, what? Where is it? Where? It's in the fucking bassinet.
Yes, you're going to be sleep deprived. Yes, but it's not forever. And also, like that whole thing that you're only sleeping 2 to 3 hours a night. Yeah, that's a big possibility. That could be happening in several homes.
But not forever. Not forever.
But it's not forever, you guys. It's not. And then, because get ready, because when your kid becomes a teenager and they get their licenses and they're driving around, then you're not going to sleep because of that.
I used to be a really great sleeper. Like I was like a heavy sleeper. And since I had kids, I'm just not a heavy sleeper. I am up. I hear people up. Sometimes people are sick in the middle of the night. Sometimes, so it's like that is in fact gone. And also, listen, as you get older, your hormones are going to change and then you won't sleep for that reason. And that has nothing to do with the children and it's coming for you anyway, whether you have kids or not. So
and you wake up every morning at 3 a.m. and then instead of saying, oh, I'm perimenopausal, you're going to say things like, oh, it's witching hour. I'm a witch.
Right. Because this is, so I think one, absolutely don't believe what the internet says. I think two, fundamentally, we feel like this is worse now because we have lost the community and the ability to shape our schedules that we had. Because I will tell you that, like, for us, for the sleeping, Jeff is not a late night person. He does not do well if he is up late. I am not a morning person. Perimenopause. Now I'm up and there's nothing I can do about it. But the way we manage things was just, listen, I'm actually okay. For me, a 2 or 3 a.m. wake up is not a problem as long as I can sleep in the morning. And so when we were in situations where I could control that, so I'm doing the night thing, and then anything after 3 a.m. is Jeff. He's up. It's his problem. When we did that, it was great. I would be able to sleep basically from 3 till 7 or 8. And that was enough for me, to really feel rested. This is going to look different for everyone. But so as much as you are in control of, if you can kind of figure out where that sweet spot is for your body, you're going to be okay. Now, the problem is we're very constrained by this. It's you might not be able to sleep in the morning because you have to get other kids to school or get up to go to work and so I think that a lot of what is happening is because we don't have control of the other things. So I think if you're worried about this, look at what your schedule looks like. If you're on maternity leave and it's your first one, you can sleep when you can sleep. If you're a person that can nap, great. And if you are happy to let a lot of the other stuff go, so mouthwash is forming and you are just washing what you need and you're not worried about your dishwasher and all that and your house looks like whatever because you're tending to your sleep needs, it's not going to be a problem. But if you need to do everything to the perfection level that you did it before, and what you're willing to trade for that is sleep might be a problem, right? It's the same the doom scrolling at night. That is what the healthiest thing I did for my own sleep habits as a mom was try to remove the phone from the bed. Even though I felt like that phone time felt like some of the only sanity time I had, it was taking what that was coming out of was my own sleep.
Yeah. And this is we've been talking a lot of the newborn stage, which I think is usually where you lose that sleep is going to be when the baby, because babies won't sleep through the night for a little while. But the listener apparently is getting people saying that when their kids are 5, 6, 7, into the tween stage are not sleeping through the night. And therefore the parents are not sleeping through the night. I have no experience with this, but I feel like if this were to happen to you, this would be something to talk to your pediatrician about, because the kid also needs sleep and should be sleeping through the night. So there are definitely resources out there if for whatever reason or something happens and you have a kid that just will not sleep through the night. You should be not on the internet, but talking to your doctor or your kid's doctor about how to solve that, because they're not healthy if they are, constantly awake throughout the night.
I do think it's so at least for me, mine, some of them struggle more to go down to sleep. Some of them struggle to stay asleep. We still have children that come into the bed in the middle of the night, either to need resettling, right? So, but the thing is a hug and a, hey, go back to bed usually does it. So I'm not getting, I would say I am still not getting uninterrupted sleep, but I'm not up doing, yes, there are kids do get sick. And so there are times Jeff will wake up because again, he's, I always say you should say sleep like a dad, not sleep like a baby. He will sleep through, and I do feel like I've lived an entire life in the middle of the night. People have thrown up, there's a cleanup and things like that. But this is once in a blue moon, right? This is somebody has a nightmare. And it's not like a baby where I had to get up and do a bunch of things. So I'm now up, right? I get up, I sort of take care of it. I'm able to get back to sleep. They're able to get back to sleep. But I agree, Cheyna, your kids should be sleeping certainly by 10, probably by 5.
Let's be honest, life gets messy, families fight, coworkers overstep, partners do weird stuff in bed. Luckily, Slate's advice columnists have seen it all. Sign up for the free Slate Advice newsletter and get our latest takes on sex, parenting, money, and every moral gray area in between, plus exclusive bonus letters delivered straight to your inbox. Subscribe now at slate.com/advice.
Listen, bedtime routines are not just designed for the newborn, like we were just saying. It's just not, it's not designed just for the baby where you have the 3 B's, however you did your 3 B's. For me, it was bath, bottle, bed, right? Those were my 3 B's up until a certain age where that no longer applied. However, now that I have teenagers, our bedtime routine is now more about downtime, winding down. The wording has changed, but it's all the same. It's basically us giving the kids about half an hour to 45 minutes before I really want everybody to be like in bed, let's go. And it's usually around 8:15 is basically when I'm already like, all right, guys, time to wind down. Let's go. And that's their time to get their PJs on, get their uniforms for school the next day ready, their backpacks, their snacks, their water bottle. They have to do all this stuff before they hit that pillow, right? However, like Elizabeth said, does Avery wake up every once in a while and sneak into our room? Yes, absolutely. It happens. It's going to happen. This time though, I, like Elizabeth, can hear her coming down the hall and immediately like, you need to turn around. I want water. You have it by your bedside. Goes, drinks water, goes right to bed. You know? It all changes. It all changes at a certain age. And that 5 to 6, 7-year-old, they're not doing the bottle, but they are doing bath time and bed. And in between bath time and bed, you need to read a book. It's time to unwind, get the room cozy, the lighting right, all those things.
We had a great teen sleep episode that I'll find and we'll put in the show notes. Like an expert came on and this is what they said. Teens need a bedtime sleep routine too. Like
everybody
we all need
does.
it.
Honestly, like I need a better bedtime routine. I mean, like,
so that's what I'm saying. I actually think that most of us feel sleep deprived because I'm going to speak for myself, but I think this applies to a lot of people. That screen time before bed, like you've gotten the kids kind of settled, or you wake up in the middle of the night and you pick up your phone, feels like such a gift and something you need, but you're robbing yourself of the sleep. But I'm also not judging because I truly know what it feels like to feel like this is the hour or 30 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever that I have that I get to do whatever I want to do. But if I cannot do that, if I can just leave the phone, not pick up the phone in the middle of the night, and read a book or do something else, I sleep better. So I think like some of it is the circumstance of parenting and some of it is the habits we have as parents. Because I do, like when I was breastfeeding in the middle of the night, I had this group of 8 women that I was kind of in this stroller strides group with and all of this, and we would all be up texting each other. And it felt like the only lifeline that I had was like, who else is up? What else is happening? Da-da-da, my baby's up, blah, 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 you know, all of this. But I also now know like that did hinder me from going back to sleep. Or from having this be like a quiet transition. So these are choices we're making. You're an adult. You get to make these choices. For me at that moment, feeling like I was not alone was the most important. And maybe you're feeling that because you're on Instagram and watching other people, or you're, you know, listening to us, watching us. Like that is all fine. But I think to say you do have control in some ways over the sleep that you get. And you do get to make those choices. So the people that are on the internet saying like they never sleep, some of that is choices that they've made.
Listen, and some parents who don't sleep, a lot of it has to be, it's situational. It's what they're going through at their house. You know, some parents are single moms, single dads, whatever, that they don't have that help. They don't have somebody to tag team, you know.
Right. You're working late, you're picking up kids from nannies, you're feeding, then the next morning you have to get up so that you can this, and you had a bad night.
It doesn't last forever, and also I am sick and tired of other parents shaming parents, especially new parents, on sleeping while the kid is sleeping. Who gives
Why
a
is that
shit?
a problem? I don't understand why that's a problem.
I never understood that. If Amelia and Avery are taking a nap, guess who's going to bed right next to them?
Well, I think people say like there's all this other stuff that has to be done. That's my point. Like you can choose not to do the other things.
Right. Exactly.
And if ever it should be, I think it's always socially acceptable. You know, we had that great, what is her name? Came on Casey that talks about, from Struggle Care. About like, and she talks about like a clean house is neutral. It is neither good nor bad, like a tidy house, having everything organized. This is not a value judgment. So if ever there is the time that you should truly feel zero guilt about your house being a total mess. I mean, I think you should feel zero guilt all the time. But if ever a time, I think we can universally agree, when you have a newborn, screw it.
All the rules go out the window.
Yeah, figure out what your priorities are and then go from there. But like, I mean, and here's the thing, babies take multiple naps throughout the day. So like maybe you just need like one of the naps to be your nap too. Like,
or
figure it
guess
out.
what? Guess what? You could like I never understood that, you guys. Like that somebody would be so critical of a parent being like, you know what? I'm going to take a nap with the baby too. Go ahead. Knock out. Figure it out after you wake up.
That's why we
Who gives a
have baby
shit?
monitors. You can hear when it wakes up. You'll be fine.
And presumably you've put them in a safe place to sleep, like where they're safe for even if they wake up and you're asleep a little bit longer, if they're in a safe space
They're
to
in
sleep,
a crib, they're fine.
it's okay.
Listen, I am very aware, and I know Elizabeth is too, and Cheyna as well, that we are in very great partnerships where our partners are in it to win it, just like we are. And I am completely aware that, you know, there's days, you guys, I do not want to wake up and take anybody to school. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to tell my husband, can you take the kids to school? I could really use an hour extra. And sometimes he'll tease me, he goes, you fell asleep at 9 o'clock. I'm like, I know. And I am still tired. I need more sleep. It is what it is. And I get that being, it's a privilege. It's not a privilege.
Yeah,
it's
that's definitely true.
It's something that, like, man, not all parents have that. Not all parents have built-in babysitters, have grandparents, have maybe a special aunt that comes over and help them with the kids so they can take a nap. I know,
and that's where I feel like the community has failed moms, parents, just in general, right? Like everyone should have that, and we just don't. Like, we have not set up our communities, our world, our friendships to be that. Whereas like the original, like that's what we had in tribes and in groupings, you know, and family units and all of that. So I think that's the thing, is that I think people feel this so deeply because when you're not getting sleep, when you feel awful, you feel like it's never going to end. But there have to be some things that you are in control of where you can prioritize sleep. But I think we're all acknowledging, like, you could also be in a situation where none of this is true. Like, that there's nothing else you can do. And to that, all we can say is, like, it won't last forever. Eventually this child will sleep more. Or talk to your pediatrician, because maybe there can be hormonal things, there can be vitamin things, there can be all sorts of things. And looking at your sleep hygiene, you know, routine. Also, you could do all those things and still have bad nights and series of nights, and children's sleep habits change. And
one day they'll bring neuro into your house and then nobody is sleeping because
nobody sleeps. Even if you don't get it, because you're up fearing how much.
Last week the kids were sick, and you know, Amelia's 15, Avery's 13. Gino did not sleep all night because he was like, he would literally wake me up. He goes, we need to go check to see if they have fever. I'm like, you're right. Let me go check. So I would go check one. He would check the other. I'm like, no fever. Okay, come back. And he's like, man, you would think that this worryiness of when they're sick goes away. It's like, no, it's like it doesn't matter that they can do things on their own. You're still going to worry. But I want to say that it's so important that if your kid at a certain age is not sleeping like he or she should, totally talk to your pediatrician.
Just to kind of close this out, I will say this though, don't not have a baby because you're worried about sleep. Like, there's a lot of reasons to not have babies. Worrying about your sleep, not one of them. It'll work out. And like, the thing is like, there are a lot of books out there. I don't recommend most of them because they might make you even more insane with baby, particularly newborns. Like, I went down a rabbit hole of newborn sleeping books when my kid was first born, and they scared the crap out of me because they were like, if you don't have good sleep, if your baby does not have good sleep, they will become obese and they will have ADHD and they will do that. And it's like, no, you just got to turn off. What you can do, though, is you can kind of curate what works for you. For us, it was this book called Happiest Baby on the Block. There was some stuff in there that was really good. You know, there was like the 5 S's, you know, you swaddle, you shush, you feed it, whatever. And that worked out really well for us. And so I think it's a matter of knowing that you can figure it out. Go for resources that are not, you know, people trying to get clicks on the internet. And if you want a baby, have a baby. If you don't want to have a baby, don't have a baby.
Don't have a baby.
But don't make that decision because of concerns about sleep.
That's our show. Wherever and however you're listening, subscribe, leave a rating and review. Tell your friends. And please don't forget to check us out on YouTube. If you want more parenting advice, you can find Karen Feeding the column on slate.com. This episode of Karen Feeding is produced by Cheyna Roth and Rosemary Belson. Yay, Rosie. Micah Phillips is our video producer. Mia Lobel is executive director of podcasts for Slate. And Ben Richmond is our senior director of podcast operations.
I'm Elizabeth Newcamp. You can find me at elizabeth.newcamp on Instagram.
I'm Cheyna Roth. You can find me on Instagram. I'm at Cheyna_R.
And I'm Lucy Lopez. You can find me on Instagram as well, at the Lucy Lopez. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you back here on Thursday.
If you want more no-nonsense advice about parenting, relationships, money, and everything else life throws your way, sign up for the Slate Advice newsletter. A special thanks to our Slate Plus members. If you haven't already, consider joining. Slate Plus members get unlimited access to all of Slate's journalism and help support our independent reporting.